Season 3, Episode 5 of Only Murders in a Building, titled Love, starts with a recap of the previous episode. We find that Charles is now engaged to Joy, but when Charles brings up the lipstick, he kind of offends Joy. Joy goes out on her own to do a tasting for the wedding, and kind of we see Saz come in. Charles' stunt double, played by Jane Lynch. And not only that, Oliver is going on a date and he goes over to Loretta, who is cooking him dinner and pork chops. And Mabel is going out to a restaurant to meet Talbot because she says he has a kind of suspect, so to speak. So Mabel meets with Talbot at the restaurant where Jonathan is Ben's understudy and Howard's boyfriend gigs at. And then Charles is kind of at his own place with Zaz, who gives him kind of an impromptu therapy session, trying to figure out what's going on and how he can, how he was the one to be pushing Joy away when he really didn't realize it. All the while, Oliver is surprised when Loretta calls Ben a fucking pig, which was written on Ben's mirror in his dressing room with Joy's lipstick. So Oliver's kind of like, what's happening? What's going on? And as he's biting into the pork chop that's burnt and hard, he chips a tooth. The tooth comes out. And Loretta is like, hey, come with me. So they evidently take a ferry cruise where they smoke weed. And they kind of learn that they have crossed paths many decades earlier and before. And a nice little kind of history making moment between the two characters. Mabel sees Jonathan exchanging a kind of envelope with another man, or a man in a hat, so to speak. Jonathan hurries away when he spots her after Talbot kind of gets up and crashes into the waiter. And kind of Talbot figures out that that's Dr. C, kind of the doctor to the stars, who anyone who wants a prescription, he writes it up and gives it to them. Now, while that happens, Loretta reveals that she kind of had a fight or a scuffle with Ben before the opening night, maybe 30 minutes before opening night. And kind of, it's like, what? It's like, Oliver's like, oh, I didn't know that. Martin Short and Meryl Streep have amazing chemistry, and it really shows in this episode. 3 stories going on at different times during different hours in this episode. It's probably at the same time as well, and it's really, really interesting. Joy reveals to Charles she was called backstage on opening night to touch up kind of a mark on Ben's face. Charles reveals that he spotted Loretta and Ben going at it. Well, Charles took the liberty and kind of punched Ben in the face, leaving a red gash. Joy then fixes up that mark. Charles also inadvertently reveals that his proposal was accidental because he doesn't remember anything, and he kind of causes Joy to break up with him. Mabel then takes Talbot back to her apartment, which I really think is a bad idea, but they share a moment and they share a kiss, and I feel like Talbot could be the one who killed Ben. We don't know. Oliver and then Loretta sleep together. Loretta goes on to put the bath on and the shower running to get everything warm, where he later finds a scrapbook, like up in like the little canopy or whatever it is, where Loretta reads her books, full of news clippings about Ben. And that's the end of the episode. It's a fun episode. It's comical. It's drama. It's emotional. We see Mabel and Talbot getting close together when Mabel doesn't really bring men into her lives that much. We know this from season 1. Oliver hasn't been in love in a very long time. He is falling in love with Loretta. And Charles, after his little, relationship he had in season 1 with Jane, it's kind of faltered that. So then he goes to Joy. But Joy, being the nice person that she is and understands how Charles is, she breaks up with him. Everything is falling into line here like dominoes, and I'm really curious to see how this plays out. Could Meryl Streep's character of Loretta really kill Ben? Or was it someone else? Was it Talbot? Or why was it Talbot? Or was it just an accidental overdose? Or poison? Or whoever it is? Who really killed Ben is the question in this season. This episode really, really picked up on story with not being held back. It kept going and moving, especially with the flow of the dialogue. It was really, really written very well. And the comedic timings between everything is good. The aspect of putting two and two together with the fucking pig, the lipstick, and then Loretta saying she had a fight, but then we find out that Charles is the one that punched Ben, and then Joy had to touch it up. Everything lines up perfectly. I feel like this is the best written episode in a very long time of this show. In the first seasons, a couple seasons as the show has had. The acting is great. The dynamic between the cast is great. The chemistry is wonderful. This is a fun show, and this episode was really, really good. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 5, season 3 of Only Murders in the Building, titled Love. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the dynamic of the story? Who do you think really killed Ben? I'm going to keep asking this question until we find out who actually did it. Do you really think Loretta did it? Was it Talbert? Was it smart for Mabel to bring Talbert in and show her the suspect board? What do you think Charles is going to do with Joy? And how do you think Dr. C plays into everything? What was Jonathan giving to Dr. C? What was he getting in return? So many questions that still need to be answered. Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new review videos on my channel. I will see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week for my Season 3, Episode 6 review of Only Murders in the Building.